Florida, and welcome to the InstaSim channel. Today I'm playing Professor Layton and the Lost Future. In the last episode, we went to Gressenheller University, which is where Professor Layton works. We were on his way to his office because we needed to prepare for an interview with Inspector Chelmey, I believe. And we're going to go and meet someone else at the office. I believe Flora, I think, is who Luke mentioned. So we will go to a moment to just read Layton's journal first. Back to our time. Oh yeah, we went back to our time as well, so there's also that. So it seems the purpose of the big clock in Cog's shop is to activate a wormhole. It's no wonder he and Spring are resentful towards my future self, giving the way his band of thugs burst into their shop. Anyway, Cog says he can help us return to our own time. Sweet. Our first stop, my office. The London that greeted us when we exited the clock shop is the familiar old London that we originally left. Now is not the time for nostalgia, however. I have to drop by my office before going to meet Inspector Chelmey. We don't have any others yet. So. And we have Incoin. Oh.
Oh! Hi there, Flora.
Flora!
You two have got some nerve leaving me alone while you go off on another adventure.
She's angry with us. Oh no.
Now, Flora, you know that wasn't our intention at all. While we were out investigating one issue, an even more troublesome matter arose.
Haha, yes.
What kind of troublesome matter?
We couldn't have seen it coming, Flora. Honest.
We went into the future.
Really?
Of course. We would never leave you behind on purpose.
Luke is quite right. Do forgive us for our oversight.
Well, okay. Just this once. But you two had better not leave me alone again.
It won't happen again, I promise.
Of course not.
Let's see. We are back with Flora. Hooray. We have a hat on the test table. What's done is done, so I guess there's no point in dwelling on it. You two must be awfully tired after all that running around. I just made a pot of tea. Tea! Yay! We got a cup of tea. I'll go fetch it. Professor, did you just make a promise to Flora? Yes, I'm rather afraid I did, and unfortunately this is one promise I may have to break. Professor, that's terrible. You're always saying that a gentleman never breaks his word. Well, I didn't see you doing anything to dissuade the poor girl from coming with us, Luke. Besides, you know our current case is fraught with danger. I don't want her to get hurt. We need to finish what we came here to do so that we can find the inspector. We'd best move quickly. I suppose you're right, Professor. So what are we looking for? Somewhere in my office is a leather-bound notebook with a yellow note sticking out of it. Do you think you can help me find it? Aye, aye, Professor. I'm on the case. Well, where else would you put a bookcase other than in a bookcase?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
A book other than in a bookcase. Is this the notebook you were talking about, Professor? It was on the desk all this time. Ugh. Professor Layton, you are messy. Very messy. Why, yes it is. Let's see. Notes on the explosion at the Institute of Polydimensional Research. Did you gather the information in this notebook, Professor? I did, piece by piece. Sadly, most of its contents have been removed. Hey, you're right. Most of the pages have been torn out. It's been a while since I last opened it. Let's see. Well, the newspaper clippings are still intact, at least. At least that's the important thing. How old are these articles, Professor? I'll explain more on the bus. First, we need to get out of here before Flora returns. Voila! I thought you might be hungry, so I made some cucumber Huh? Where did they go? Ah. Why do we have to be nasty to Flora? Flora will spot us if we go back there, Professor. Aww. But we shouldn't leave her behind. She might be helpful. Hey, Professor L, where are you rushing off to now? We don't have time to talk. We're in the middle of an important investigation. I wasn't talking to you, Shorty. Well, Professor L? We are indeed following a lead in our investigation. Right. I don't suppose I could have a second of your time before you head off, though. Didn't you hear the Professor? We're in a hurry. Listen, Pipsqueak, you might think you're the Professor's spokesman, but you aren't. Oof. How dare she? Did you just call me Pipsqueak? Now, Luke, calm yourself. There's always time for a lady's request. What can I do for you, Rosetta? Heh, I knew you wouldn't let me down, Rosetta. Oh, yeah. Ooh. I've got this puzzle I just can't get my head around. You see, won't you help me, a damsel in distress? A puzzle, you say? I think we may be able to offer some assistance. Let's have a look. Of course, a puzzle. If all you wanted was some help with a puzzle, you should have just said so from the start. Right, puzzle 049, the missing block. Inserting one of the blocks A, B, C, or D into the space mark reveals a hidden message. That's the letter of the correct block. It goes in the square hole. There is a square one, of course. Yeah, it is that one because it spells Layton. It goes in the square hole.
I've got a good feeling about this one. Well, that's settled.
That was the easiest 30 Pickerots I've ever received. Quite right, the answer is block B, which is shaped like the letter O because it goes in the square hole. I'll stop now. When you insert that block into the space, you line up all the blocks they spell out Layton. Thank you so much, Professor L. Watching you in action always takes my breath away. Oh my god. Think nothing of it, Rosetta. I hope to see you next week. Be sure not to neglect your studies. No worries, Professor L. I'm looking forward to many hours of private instruction. This is getting far too sexual for my liking. Oh, and make sure you leave your little friend at home next time you meet. Oh, dear. He might distract me from my studies. I shouldn't say bad things about your student, Professor, but she is definitely not top of my class. Ouch! That is just... ouch! Right, go to Scotland Yard. Let's go to Scotland Yard before we piss someone else off. All that stuff in your notebook, Professor. What was this explosion you were researching? It all happened quite a few years ago, when you were very small. 2 scientists working in a physics lab accidentally caused an explosion during an experiment. The blast devastated the surrounding area. That must have been all over the news. You'd think so, wouldn't you? However, though many perished in the blast, few records of the accident remain. What happened? That's something I'm still trying to work out myself. But answer me this, Luke. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of an explosion? Why, the explosion of at the presentation of Dr. Stangen's time machine, of course. That was my first thought as well. I have a strong suspicion that these two incidents are connected. Why is that? Well, it's nothing more than a hunch at the moment, so I can't really say any more. Oh, Professor, this is our stop. Oh dear. Here we are, Professor. Scotland Yard. There is no time to waste. We have to find the inspector. Indeed we do. Police stations always make me a little nervous. You have nothing to fear, dear boy. You have not committed any crimes. And you shall go to jail anyway. For hate speech. Right. Welcome to Scotland Yard, headquarters of the London Police Force. What can I do for you? We're here to see Inspector Chelmey. Could you let him know that we'd like to speak to him? I see. Well, the inspector is always happy to meet the public. He's terribly busy at the moment. Furthermore, I'm under strict orders to issue this puzzle to all visitors. Oh, cool. A very strict order indeed. Puzzle 50. Where is this? It is the police station. In recent years, this city has been suffering from an increase in accidents and crime. Oh dear, it is real life. According to a survey, there's one place in the city that has a higher average of injured people and deaths throughout the year than anywhere else. This is a rather dark puzzle, isn't it? Where could it be? Circle the name of the place. Oh, the cemetery. Wait, hang on, what? There's one place in the city that has a higher average of injured people and deaths throughout the year than anywhere else. Where could it be? Circle the name of the place. My immediate thought is the cemetery, because everybody at the cemetery is dead. Clearly. But then my second intuition is the hospital, because everybody who goes to the hospital is either sick or injured, and unfortunately some people end up dead. So that's my intuition. So I'm gonna go with the hospital first, because that's my first intuition.
Let's see if I've got this right.
I got it right first time. Hey.
Few things satisfy like a puzzle solved.
That's right, there may be a lot of dangerous places in the city, but the hospital is where sick and injured people gather throughout the year. Well, I don't think they necessarily gather there. They kind of go there against their will for obvious reasons. So I don't think the wording of that response, of that answer, is particularly correct. But we'll gloss over that. It's 2015. What do you expect? That's correct. Tremendous work as always, Professor Layton. Huh? Do you know the professor? Of course. I'm a huge fan. How could any self-respecting puzzler not know the name Layton? I assume that puzzle was one of your own design. That's right, guilty as charged. Guilty, off to jail, go. Leave. I couldn't pass up the chance to have Professor Layton solve one of my puzzles. I called to let the inspector know you're coming. His office is just up those stairs. Thank you very much. Just finding all the hint coins, right. Nothing like a nice cup of tea. Tea? We missed our cup of tea from Flora earlier, so I think we should have ourselves a cup of tea right now. To soothe the nerves. Good day, Barton. Oh, good day to you, sir. Barton, we wish to have a few words with the inspector, but I don't see him here. I don't see him here either. I was led to believe that he was here in his office. Yes, he was, then he got up and left. It was all very sudden. I am puzzled by his sudden disappearance. Barton, I sincerely hope you're not spreading misinformation about me. I wasn't. 5 minutes ago I told you I needed to pop downstairs to see the Chief Constable. Oh yes, you did say that, sir. Close your ears, Constable. You'll never move up in the force if you don't learn to listen. Hello, Inspector. Sorry about that, Layton. What a surprise to see you. Welcome to my humble office. Forgive the sudden intrusion, Inspector. I heard that you're leading an investigation into the Prime Minister's disappearance. I am. And since it's you I'm speaking to, I'll be quite candid. This case has me baffled. Dozens of eyewitnesses, myself included, and not one blasted lead to work with. Since you were there too, I might as well hear your take on things. Have a seat. I was interviewed on the day of the incident, but maybe another chat will uncover some new theories. You've already established that you were there when the explosion occurred. Yes, I certainly was. then you must believe as I do that there's no way anyone could have survived that blast. Not that quack Stangan, not his staff, and though I hate to say it, not the Prime Minister. But what confounds me is that we haven't found a single trace of any of them. What do you mean? We went through the place with a fine-tooth comb and didn't find anything related to the victims. No bodies, no clothing, and no shoes. Not even so much as a pocket watch or ring. All we recovered from the scene was the 10 tons of scrap metal that used to be the machine. No people. There were 8 of them, sir. What? Did you just say something, Constable? There were 8 of them, sir. 8 people vanished. Ah, yes. According to eyewitness reports, 8 people vanished from the scene. That group consisted of Stangan, a handful of his assistants, and the Prime Minister. Now, how in the world do 8 people just vanish? It's like a blasted magic trick. Don't worry, Inspector. From what I've heard, the Prime Minister's still alive. Huh? Ah, young Luke, be a good lad and keep quiet, alright? The adults are having a serious conversation here. If you're bored, why don't you and Barton go and play in the lobby? Oh god. Inspector, I assure you Luke isn't making this up. There's a very real possibility that Bill Hawkes is still alive. What? Well, don't leave me here scratching my head like a fool. Explain yourself, Layton. I will, but I must ask a favour of you first. And what would that be? Do you recall the explosion at the Institute of Polydimensional Research 10 years ago? What did you just say? I'll take that as a yes. It is imperative that I see any and all case files on that incident. It sounds like you're onto something here, Layton. What do you know? Nothing at the moment, but I have a suspicion your current case is somehow linked to this old one. I'd like to help, really I would, but those files are sealed and require top-level clearance. Even a high-ranking officer like myself would have trouble getting his hands on those. I see. I had hoped a man of your status might have the necessary clout to acquire those documents. Unfortunately, it seems I may have hoped for too much. I'm sorry to have asked the impossible of you. Wait just a moment, Layton. I just might be able to get you access to those case files. Excellent! I would be extremely grateful for that. Just one thing though, these documents don't come for free. I want to hear everything you know or suspect about the Prime Minister's whereabouts. Of course, once I've seen the documents and I'm sure my theory is sound, every detail will be yours. Barton, head down to the archives and find those old files. Tell them you're there on my orders. Right away, sir. Those files can't leave the archives, but you can read them down there. Take the stairs down from the lobby to the cellar. Much appreciated, Inspector. Right, we should make our way down to the archives then. Hello. Welcome to the archives. I've gathered all the case files pertaining to the explosion. Thank you, Barton. Your hard work has saved us considerable time. Yuck, these papers are all mildewy and covered in dust. These files are off limits to most people. You're the first to touch them in a long time. I see. Hand some of those over and I'll help you look through them. Where should I start? I appreciate the offer, Luke, but I should handle these myself. They are top secret after all. Oh, of course, if you say so, Professor. Hint coins. Oh, Barton has a puzzle. Don't you ever get tired of the Inspector shouting at you, Constable Barton? Oh, it's not so bad. He only scolds me when he has good reason to, which is often, unfortunately. Oh. I make a lot of mistakes, so I get shouted at a lot. He's always telling me I lack insight and don't pay enough attention. He's absolutely right. I get distracted very easily and then I make mistakes. Ah, chill up, Constable. Everyone makes mistakes. I make them all the time. I have made some howlers, though. Just the other day, in fact, I found myself in quite a jam. Puzzle 51. Park the car. Barton needs to park his police car in the space indicated by the flag. When he encounters a cross, he has to turn left or right. When he meets a circle, he must keep going straight. Assuming he is not allowed to reverse the car, which route does Barton need to take in order to reach the parking space? Draw a line from the police car to the parking space. As you can see, the parking space can only be entered from one side. I think a good idea is to go backwards on this. So, when he encounters a cross, he has to turn left or right. So, I'm assuming... Yeah, we do that. Okay. So, that would mean that takes us to turn. We have to turn left or right, so if it goes that way, and then when we counter a circle, we go straight ahead. Straight ahead, that way. Yes, that's not going to work, is it? Yeah, that's not going to work either. Right, so we'll go left here. Go straight ahead, and then we have to go that way. We have to go straight ahead. We can't go that way. If we go that way... Can we go along the space twice? We can. Turn that way, turn that way, turn that way. Straight ahead, turn up. Okay, we can't go that way either. Turn that way, turn that way. We have to go that way. We have to go straight ahead all the way to the end. Oh, this is a little more difficult than I thought it would be. Ah, bugger. So the thing is you'll have to turn right anyway to get to the parking space, wouldn't you? So, or left even. So let's assume he goes this way. So we go straight ahead. Haha! Got it.
This one's as good as solved.
Way.
No puzzle can stop Layton's apprentice.
Nice driving. Barton has to go all the way around the parking space in order to get there. Though you showed him the route he needed to take, all those turns seem to have confused Barton. He's written off the police car and the inspector's not happy. Oh dear. Poor Barton. Wonderful work, Luke. I bet the professor never has to shout at you. Well, the professor's not really the shouting type. But it's true that I have never leave a puzzle unsolved. I've got his reputation to uphold. Oh dear, I've never considered the possibility that my clangers could harm the inspector's reputation. Don't worry, Constable. You try your best, and that's the most important thing. If only I could convince the inspector to see things that way. Luke, come here. I think I've found what we're looking for. What is that, Professor? That file yielded some very valuable information, Luke. What exactly did you find out, Professor? Let's just say I'm very confident that the Prime Minister is still alive. The only way to save him, however, is to travel to the other London where he's being held. You think he might be trapped in the future? Perhaps this is something we need to discuss with the Inspector. We'll do that in the next episode because this video is getting to half an hour long and I don't like it when they're that long because they take a long time to edit. Anyway, I'm going to go and end this episode here, and in the next episode we're going to carry on and we're going to go and to speak with Inspector Chelmey again about our findings, and then I'm assuming we're going to head off to the future. So, Thank you all so much for watching this episode of Professor Layton and the Lost Future. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. That'd mean a lot, and you get more videos like this. Also, don't forget to like my Facebook page and on Twitch, and as always, I'll see you all in the next video. But until then, goodbye.